What is the most important part of video production? Is it the camera? No! If you said anything other than audio, well, you're probably, I mean, the camera's kind of important, I guess. But today what I want to show you is how you can increase your online video audio quality without spending too much money, because who wants to save some money? I definitely do. And I'm gonna show you the absolute best budget audio device you're gonna find anywhere. Let's get to it. What's up, everyone? I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Now, I've been wanting to make this video for so long. I've been keeping this video back for months and months, and it's finally the time to talk about it, because this is, without a doubt, one of my favorite pieces of video gear ever made, and it is the Zoom H1N. This is probably the best single piece of kit that I have ever purchased for the channel. And this has a lot of really nice features, and you can pick one up for, ding, amount of dollars. Now, whatever that price is today, be on the lookout. Don't necessarily go buy it today unless you can find a really good deal, because these go on sale all of the time. No kidding. This was on sale 4 days ago. From the release of this video, this was on sale for like under 75 bucks. That is fantastic. And that's about how much I paid for this, which is such a great deal. So there's lots of different ways to get audio into your camera, right? Right now you could use like a very nice high quality XLR microphone plugged into your camera. You could use something like another kind of audio mixer like the MixPre 3 we've used here before, or you could record off camera with the Zoom H1N. Now this thing has a lot of really nice features to it. Now, one of the big benefits and one of the things that I like most about the H1N is not only does it have a lot of like physical buttons and dials, but in a rarity for a small audio recorder like this, it's got a physical gain dial. And we'll see more about that in just a second, how useful that can be, because nobody wants to go through the menus and change up gain or change up your audio recording levels. You want to do that straight from the device itself, and you can do that right from the front of the Zoom. But what I want to do, so right now we are currently recording on the Lumix GH5 with the XLR plug-in adapter through the hot shoe. I've got an XLR microphone that I'm looking at right now. So consider the audio that we're currently recording to be about a $500 to $600 setup. This is a $75 setup, and let's just compare the two against each other as we talk about the Zoom H1N. So what we're gonna do, we have a very cheap, this is the Boya lavalier mic from another of our cheapest audio videos. So we're gonna record the audio right now with both of these, and we're gonna switch back and forth as the video's going on, just so you can see what I'm talking about and how powerful this little device is. Okay, so we're kind of rigged up here. And one of the cool things, another cool thing while we're setting this up is you can actually see when it's fully turned on. So you can see your levels straight from the device itself, which is super useful, so you can dial it in. Now, a rule of thumb, something that I always do for audio is I want my peaks to be at -12. So we can turn this up just a little bit. Audio test, audio test, audio test. So now da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So right about there, we should be pretty good. So we can hit record, and we have now started recording on the Zoom H1N with a dirt cheap lavalier mic. So let me know which one you think sounds better. Is it the almost pro level audio XLR adapter, or is it this very cheap device? Now again, the thing that I like, that you can just dial your audio in however you want it. So audio test, audio test, audio test, audio test, audio test, audio test. So you can see, you could use this just as as I've used this before. I've used this just plugged in just like this. I'll sync the audio in post like we're doing right now, and you can't even tell the difference. I've used this with the RX100 Mark V, which is right here. I've used it with action cameras. I would probably use it with this Fuji X-T30 that we're recording on over here, because it's got a 2.5mm audio jack, but that doesn't help because I don't have any 2.5mm stuff. I have all 3.5mm audio, which is what this does. So my big benefit of cameras or camera gear in all shapes and sizes is actually having physical buttons and controls. So you can see here on the physical body itself, it's got space for the micro SD card that we are currently recording this audio to. It's got a settings and a hold button on here, so you don't mess up any of the buttons if you've got this in a pocket. It is run off 2 AAA batteries, which I do kind of wish, I don't normally want like internal powered battery stuff, but I do kind of wish this had an internal battery, because I forget to charge AAAs all of the time. On the front here, you can see that you can, when you stopped recording, you can listen to it back with this little speaker right here. You play, pause, forward, fast forward, pause. It gives you some more options that you can choose. There are some higher quality audio recording settings that you can do with the Zoom H1N, and I'll leave like right over top of here right now. I'll show you all, I'll list all of the different features and functions that you can get out of this thing. I'm not as concerned about that. I'm not an audio engineer. I'm just an online content creator. I want to show you how I have used this in my online video production. So you can see you can't set it to auto level. That's where it will stop you from peaking too loud. So as you talk like this, you'll see that it'll try to keep the levels down a little bit, but I don't like using auto levels. I like trying to keep stuff as manual as possible. Again, huge fan of this manual gain dial. But something that's really cool about this thing is you don't necessarily need to use it like this. So here, we'll pause this. We'll unplug the lavalier mic. One of the really awesome things is something I've used this as, you could use this as like an interview audio device. So we're recording again. So let's say you are out at a convention, like I go to conventions all the time. You can very easily set this up, hit record and be like, hey, what's going on with your Zoom H1N audio device? Is there anything fancy in the future of the Zoom H1 audio device that you would like to use? No? Something cool? And then you hand it over to your buddy. Yeah, hey, when you consider the new Zoom device that you are using, how would you necessarily use that for online video production? Well, I'm glad you asked, Everyday Dad. In our company, the Zoom company, we really like producing budget. I don't actually work for Zoom, by the way. We like producing blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you could use this without, we'll stop recording there. So you could use this as you don't necessarily have to plug it into anything, which is very, very, very useful. Like, I cannot overstate like how impressive all of the features on this thing are. And it's not necessarily about digging into all of those specs and things that we showed earlier. It's just the usability. So there are three main ways that you can use the Zoom H1N. We already saw, plug it into a lavalier mic, treat it just like a regular audio device recorder. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Just record, sync in post. You could use it without being anything plugged into it because it's got these stereo microphones on top, as we already saw. Audio blah, 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 blah. It's not on right now. Audio blah, 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 blah. That's exactly what it sounds like when I record audio. Blah, 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 blah. You could use it like that, or, and this is the one that makes this thing so useful, is this has both a 3.5 millimeter audio in and a 3.5 millimeter audio out. But what does that mean? Like, who cares, right? So what that means is you don't have to record audio to this device to get the use out of it. What you can do, and I have done this for my podcast, is you can plug your microphone into here, and then you can plug this into your camera. So what does that help? So let's say you're using a camera with a terrible preamp, Nikon or Canon. I love the cameras, but they have some pretty bad preamps. So you're trying to get around those bad preamps. You can then use this as a preamp for your camera. It's got a 1/4-inch tripod mount on the bottom. You can mount this to the top of your camera. You could mount this to another device. You could mount this on a cage. You could mount this next to your camera. Use this as the preamp and not have to worry. You don't have to worry about, does the XT30 actually have good preamps? Does the GH5 have good preamps? You don't have to worry about that. You can use legitimate sounding audio devices to record internal to your camera. And you know what? Let's hop outside real quick so I can show you how all of this works together. I'll show you the three main ways that I would use this and prove to you that it will save your camera. It will let you take a crappy camera and get really good audio recorded through it and with it. So see ya, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we are outdoors to do the really quick, just so I can show you how it all comes together, audio test. And we are currently recording this audio on the Zoom H1N. As you can see, there is no other audio device out here. I do have a 3.5 millimeter audio cable plugged into the A6400 for future expediency's sake. But for right now, this is the audio. And what I really like about having audio recorded off camera or using a lavalier system is, look, I'm not trapped to the camera. Like, one of the things I hate about shotgun microphones is you're like, hey everybody, let's talk about microphones, blah, 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 blah. And then you're just like stuck at a certain distance away from the camera. Where here, I don't even have to be in the frame. Check this out. Not even looking at I'm not even around the camera, and you can still hear me. So I really like that a device like the Zoom H1N just lets you get really good audio without having to be at the camera. Like, that's super important to me. And again, you can dial in your audio straight from here. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm a little too hot right now. Look, oh, I can see the levels. I'm changing it as we go. So this is the off-camera audio recording with a lavalier mic, and then, I don't know why I just did that. This is now, like we saw indoors, if you're doing some kind of an interview. So, Everyday Dad, what do you think about blah, blah, blah? Well, Everyday Dad, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on this wonderful channel and to share my experiences with your wonderful audience. You guys are the heroes. Well, thank you very much, Everyday Dad. I'm a big fan of my audience as well, so thanks to everybody that watches. You could easily use this as an interview microphone, and what's great, there is a little wind muff that you can get to put around it to take out the plosives, like the puzz and the buzz. Those will affect microphones from time to time if you're like talking right into the microphone. If you're talking off microphone, it should be a little bit better, but here's the one that I'm really excited to show you, and I am gonna have to set this up for a second, so hold on, just hold on. See, there you go. Now we are, let's unravel this. One of the benefits of having a nice long lavalier cord. So yeah, there you go. Now, one of the benefits of the A6400, don't necessarily take this specifically for the A6400. I do think the internal preamps are pretty good, but if you have a camera that has terrible internal preamps, this solves it for you. Like, you now can use the Zoom recorder as a preamp. Now, does this make it a little more fiddly to set up? Yes, absolutely. I personally prefer systems that just work without having to mess around with them too much. But if you're in a pinch, or you do a studio setup where you're just looking at the camera and talking and you want the best audio, because audio is the most, like, it is so much more important than everything else. Like, it's not even close. So if you have that kind of setup and you're just like, my camera could use some more audio oomph, but I don't want to spend that much money, the Zoom H1N. All day long, the Zoom H1N is the best, absolutely the best budget audio device you could buy anywhere. Like, you should, I almost titled this video, you should go buy this. I try to save that for different kind of videos since this is a budget video production video, but you should absolutely go buy one of these. Like, it's incredibly powerful, and budget doesn't necessarily mean the cheapest. That's why we stopped calling this reviewing the cheapest, because budget is what gives you good value for your money, not necessarily what's just cheap and may or may not work. So what do you guys want? What are some other pieces of budget video production gear you'd like to see me check out or recommend on the channel? Leave a comment below. I'd love talking about them. Audio is kind of like my favorite, so I've been waiting to show this video for months, so I'm very excited that it finally gets to go out today. Thanks for watching.